How we doing, YouTube? I'm Thomas with Tomology. I'm going to go through and show you actually how to undervote your CPU some, especially with all the stuff going on with the 13 and 14 gen Intels, but this also works for AMD. Keep your CPU cool will keep the longevity of your CPU. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to jump on over to my other camera, and sorry if the picture quality is just a little crappy on it. I'm going to do my best to get the best picture, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you my BIOS, and I'm going to go through the BIOSes and then come back to the computer. But if I come to the computer and I put it in OBS, I'm not going to get my scores in Cinebench and everywhere else because it's using that as well. So everything will be recorded on there besides here in my outro. So hopefully y'all enjoy. Hopefully this helps you out. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, please. Thumbs up. Leave comments down below. If you know a little bit better way of something, don't I mean don't be a butthole about it. Just leave comments down below. If there's something that can help other people out, that's what we're out here on YouTube for. Yes, everybody wants to make it on YouTube and make that money, money, money. But it's not all about making the money and being here on YouTube. What I love about YouTube and building this YouTube community so far, and I'm at like 230 subscribers, somewhere in there. What I like so far with building this community is feedback. You learn from other people. How else are you going to get smart? How else are you going to learn but by other people? By reading. If you read, somebody else wrote that book. No matter what, you have to learn from somebody else. No matter what. That's just how the world works. You don't just be born and just learn everything as you get older. Somebody teaches you. So take a little bit of mine, take a little bit of somebody else's. If you have something and you want to add something to it, drop it in the comment down below. Again, don't forget the video thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let's get to it. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into BIOS. You see it's September 9, 2024. I'm running 3.4. I'm just going to make sure everything is stock. I do have every motherboard should have an overclock profile. So I do have my overclock profile on here that I save. No XMP. What I'm going to do to make sure everything is normal is come to, or back to default, restore defaults. I'm going to hit F10. So the only thing that changed was my CPU cooler, which is back, everything's back to Intel where it needs to be at. So I'm going to restart and we're going to do some tests starting fresh. Like you just bought your motherboard, you just pulled it out, you just put your chip in. This works for Intel or AMD, but mainly the big one is Intel with the 13th and 14th gen, uh, with their overheating and the longevity of your chip. Again, I don't have a 13900, I have a 13700. I am running a custom water cool. I have three 360 radiators in here, one top, one bottom, one back wall. I got a water block on the GPU, water block on the CPU and the RAM, my custom tubing, and one water pump, just a little bitty water pump right here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to restart this and get in, and we're going to do some benchmarks with it just how it is stock, and then I'm going to show you how to tweak your voltages so you don't have this overheating problem with Intel, or even if you want to get more performance out of your AMD. All right, first thing I'm going to do, come in here, try to get this one monitor, that way everything's on the one monitor, not both of my monitors, is I'm going to show you what my fan curve. It is 74 degrees Fahrenheit in my apartment. My CPU fans, I put at static 75%, and then my pump fan, my water pump, I have at 100%. So just so you know, I'm using hardware 64 info. The first test we're going to do is Cinebench. Let's go ahead and open it up, minimize it, clear out all our max and minimals. So right now, I got 1.333 on my core VID. Let's go ahead and start a test. Already jumped up to 85, 87. Remember, if you're on an AIO or something, you 88, and you don't have three radiators like I do, you're going to probably be hitting 90, 94, 95. So I just have an aggressive, water cool system. I like water cooling. It's nice. 90. So now we're hitting at 90. Voltage wise, we're only 1.343, and we're getting 28. What is that? 28,841 is what we're getting right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it one more time. So my average on this chip here, I tell you what, I'm won't lie. I was one of them people that I bought a CPU, sent it back, bought a CPU, sent it back to try to get a good silicon chip on there. But I did it 3 times, and I mean was my third one, and I could not get nothing to do nothing on it. So this one here, 29,424, again 90. One other test I'm going to run. It is called Performance Test by Passmark. So this is just a demo. It's a 30-day demo. So this says here, I'm just going to do CPU. I'm going to go ahead and clear my max and mins. And then I'm going to hit run test. So this is what I do whenever I set up everything for when I first get a CPU or so. I set all this up and check out my temperatures and make sure nothing's overheating or where my overheating is, where I need to adjust. So right now we're at what 1.366. We're hitting 75 degrees right now. It goes through a few, so like 9 settings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 settings it goes through. So the max voltage is 1.366. My sustained right now, my current is 1.3. Look at that, 91 degrees. Water temp is 34 degrees. On the RAM over here, on the RAM block in the CPU, it has a water temperature gauge, so I know what temperature my water is. So 1.371 is my highest, 91. Which is going to be probably my Core 5, right? No, Core 7 hit 91. Core 5 is normally my hottest. So 1.371 is still my top voltage. 91. To me, you want longevity out of your CPU. You need to have your CPU where it's not going above 80 is where you really, really want to try to get it. So there's my score, 47432 for this. I'm not worried about score whatsoever. I'm worried about my temperatures and my voltages. So let's go back into the BIOS and let's see what we can do about this. All right, so now we're back in the BIOS. I haven't touched nothing. We're still at, Monday, September 9, 2024. So the first thing we're going to do is we actually are going to enable XMP. But we're going to change some settings on that because I'm running DDR5 7600, but this chip will not go past 6400. So out of all my testing and everything I've done. But we are going to enable XMP. If you don't, you're leaving performance on the floor. So then we're going to go into OC. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the CPU cooling type or tuning. I'm going to set mine to max, which is the 4096 watts. That's where I'm going to keep mine. This gives you an error saying that you're going to overclock. I do set my P cores to 5.3, but we're not going to do that right now. I do set my E cores to 4.3. Not going to do that right now. In advance, I will, here in a little while, I will turn off the IA because that will hit your performance. The ring ratio, I don't mess with the ring. I let the CPU do its own ring. So we're going to come down here and memory try it. We're going to hit DDR5 6000 CL30. Because like I said, it's registering right here 7600, and I know it's not going to work at 7600. So we're going to do 6000 CL30, get the lowest we can get on there. I'm going to keep coming down. Now, the main part, and Asus, ASRock, Gigabit, everyone has their own. MSI, to me, they have the cleanest UI in the BIOS. To me, don't get me wrong, I like Asus's BIOS as well, but they have a little bit more explanations, or how they give you the visuals so you can do things. So we want to do an adaptive offset. So I remember on my Z690 motherboards with Asus, I had to go through 3 different sections, but it's just one section. You click it. I am going to do a minus offset because we want the voltage to drop. But if it drops too far, then you're going to get blue screen of death and stuff like that. So you got to find your sweet spot. But you need to at least get an offset, even if the adaptive part ain't in it. And I believe Asus was, like I said, that's the only 2 boards that I use is Asus and MSI. On my Asus, I just put an offset, and of course you try to make a negative offset. And then right below it, what is going to be my CPU core voltage offset? You start with 0.010 and then work your way up. I know where mine is, but I'm going to start with 0.030 is where I'm going to put mine at. Come down. You need to make sure that your VDDQ voltage, put that on auto. You want it to auto do that. So if it wants more, it wants more. This isn't going to hurt nothing, even if you're not water cooled. But RAM, these RAM sticks can run 1.4, and if you tell it to give it more, then you'll have it there for when it needs that more power. I set mine to 1.4. Yes, it shows it red, but really and truly, DDR5 can be ran at like 1.6, 1.7. I mean, before it really, really starts to hurt them. And that's it. That's it for right now in here. And now we're going to hit it F10. And then the computer's going to shut off. It's going to redo everything that it needs to do and turn back on. When it turns back on, we're going to come back in here. I'm going to run some tests. Then I'm going to come back into BIOS one more time, put all my stuff back to where it needs to be at, and then show you the final. Okay, we're all booted up. Got hardware info here. So the first one we're going to go to is Cinebench R23. Let's go ahead and open that up. Minimize. Bring it back to the middle. That way I'm getting everything on the screen. And then hit start. I'm only at 1.319 is my max voltage right now. 77, 80. So 80 degrees so far, which is Core 5. Like I said, my Core 5 is the hottest. My average is 1.253. But I haven't even hit 1.4 or nothing like that. So now, without affecting my performance whatsoever, 29,971. See, I increase score. So again, you can run Cinebench like 5, 6, 10 times in a row, and it's going to give you a different number. I like to run them kind of back to back. That way we can see where the temperature's like. So the highest I've hit is 80. The highest voltage I've hit is 1.326. Remember, I put what, 0.30. You can keep backing it up, backing it up, backing it up. I think the max I can do on my board is 0.60 or 0.65, somewhere in there. So again, I'm at 29. I have not lost no power whatsoever. So now I'm going to go back. Well, real quick before I go back in, let's go ahead and run the performance test. We're going to run. We're going to continue. Clear the max minimums. And hit run. So now we're going to push it a little bit more and see where it goes. Again, there is stronger tests that you can do, like Prime 95 and stuff like that. That is for complete stability. Once you tune it in, like here, and you believe you 100% have it tuned in here, then you go run Prime 95. If you don't run Prime 95 for like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours. And when you run Prime 95 for that long, you'll see other things or it crashes or whatever else, and then you can really fine tune it. So a lot of people don't realize, self-building computers, or even now, going to the store or Best Buy or Micro Center, buying a Cyber Power or, any of those Origin PCs, you can go into your BIOS and you can still do this. So 80 degrees is so far the hottest. 1.331 is on my cores right here on my voltage. My water temp is still sitting at 34 degrees C. Again, it is 76 degrees, uh, or excuse me, 74 degrees in my apartment. I'm just an average Joe, just like you. So 80 degrees, it looks like, is where my top out is. It's finishing up this last test, where we were over 90 a minute ago. That's already a 10-degree difference right there. So 10-degree difference. Voltage is down. I like to keep mine in the 1.2 area. If I could get mine like some of these other people do that, they get it to like the 1.1 range, which is phenomenal. If you can get this into the 1.1 and be stable, you're doing really good. All right, I'm gonna go back into the BIOS and I'm gonna put on my profile. All right, so I'm back in the BIOS now. So, like I said, you have your profile. So I'm going to go over to my overclock profile. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load it, and then I'm going to go through what all it does, what all's changed. So, in the overclock, so basically MSI, of course, is on. I set mine to 5.343. Again, I leave everything else normal. I do not mess with my ring ratio. In advanced, the only thing I mess in here in the advanced is at the very, very bottom, which is my IA. IA is disabled. And then 62 up here it says 6,000 because the profile's not loaded in yet, but I keep mine at 6200 G2 and come down, and then I put an offset of 0.065. Again, my VDDQ is on auto, and 1.4 for my volts. And then, of course, I have some other settings for like my secure boot and everything else in my settings, or my USB being powered on all the time, even when the computer's off in my settings. So I'm going to go ahead and hit F10. Now, this is everything that is going to change. It's going to put everything like this right here. So my PCI Express to Gen 5, everything that I've already done and went through and did everything. This is what it's fixing to change to. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. Let the computer restart, and then I am going to do the Cinebench and the performance test again. So you see the difference between the voltage and the temperature. All right, so now we're booted back up. Again, the first one I'm going to do is Cinebench. Maybe it'll open up for me. Get over here. All right. Now, if you look at my voltages, I'm not even at 1.3 no more. I'm at 1.287. I'm still at my 5343. 75 so far is my max. Again, it's 76 or 74 degrees. I don't know why I keep saying 76. 74 degrees Fahrenheit in my my apartment. My water temp is 33 degrees. And let's see what the score is. So 30,072. I never went above 75. Let's go ahead. We're going to do it 2 more times. Like I said, all you have to do is play just a little bit in your BIOS. I mean, if you have an offset mode, if you have MSI, you need to be doing adaptive plus offset. Because the adaptive is going to, just like it says, it's going to adapt if something is calling for more or less. It's going to adapt to that. So 29,489. Anybody else ready for Halloween? I know someone's going to say something about my Halloween stuff here in September. So 76 is my max so far. I mean, everything's running cool. I mean, everything is. So again, right at 29,879. So right at 30,000. So I could probably push a little bit more, and I'm not going to go all through it. I mean, I could, but if I bump it to 5.4 instead of 5.3, I gain no performance, none whatsoever. But I gain heat. I go all the way up to like 85, 86. I like mine being under 80 degrees here. So let's go ahead and run this again. The performance test by Passmark. We're going to go to CPU. We're going to go ahead and clear my men's max. We're going to click run. We're going to click run. So now it's going to be doing everything that it needs to do. Again, I mean, I can't stress enough. I mean, you just gotta. It's just like a car, man. You gotta pop your hood of your car. You have to look around your engine. You don't have to be a mechanic. Just like here, you don't have to be a computer expert. You got videos like mine and everyone else's, but you can go step by step. Um, by somebody's video, but at the same time, if you learn yours, then you'll learn yours. Just like your car. If you learn your car, so say you know that an air intake, you learned that an air intake increases performance on your car and gives you better gas mileage. So we're keeping our same performance, but we're increasing gas mileage because we're running efficient now. By the way, I am using the MSI Z790 Edge Wi-Fi. Not the Edge Wi-Fi 2, just the Edge Wi-Fi. I wasn't going to upgrade to the 2 because I knew that the Ultra series was coming, and they better do something special with these. They better blow the 14900 out the water. I want to see at least a 40% uplift. So look at there. So 75 was my max temp. 1.287 was my max voltage. All right, give me a second. I'll be back with my final. As you see there, you just play around with your man. My hairdo, sorry, my hair is like all over the place, and I don't have much. You play around with your voltage just a little bit, man. Just a little bit. A little bit goes a long, long way. I mean, I imagine even the younger generation, being y'all are younger generation, you've heard that. I mean, a little bit goes a long way. Just same thing with your cologne. You just barely. I mean, a little bit will literally go a long way. You get used to it and you smell it on your cologne. But anyways, it just a little bit of the undervolting will literally stop your CPU from overheating 100%. So again, I can probably tweak mine and actually with this new BIOS because that's just my normal settings that I use, and I've been using now for almost a year with this motherboard. So I actually might go in there and I might play around a little bit more until I blue screen. And what I do is after I'm done, I'll go play 2 hours on the game. And then the next day, turn it on, go play another 2 hours. And as long as, because sometimes I can do something, go play a game and everything's fine. Everything seems to be fine. Everything seems to be working fine. And then also the next day I come on and I get into a lobby of Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever I'm playing. And all of a sudden the game crashes. It's because of that. It's because of your voltage. You undervolted it too much. It's not your gain. You undervolted or overclocked too much, and now it's going haywire a little bit. But anyways, that's how you cool down your CPU with the Intels. And again, it also works for AMD. I'm Thomas with Tomology. I'll catch you in the next one.